Where were you born?
Yeah, I was born in Nagpur, over here itself. Studied in Centrepoint School, and I've had a pretty amazing experience in my school life. I've had my highs, I've had my lows. I've been sent to a counselor in 7th grade because I was really bad at studies and very, very mischievous in class. And my 11th and 12th was full of adventures where I met amazing people, new people in school, and was able to gel with them amazingly well, and they still remain my best friends till now. I was in part of this organization called ISEC. So I was heading operations for them when I was just in second year. And throughout my experience in this particular organization, I realized that a part of me was more interested in social entrepreneurship, impact, and entrepreneurship and startups on a whole rather than mechanical engineering or what I was studying over there. One of the friends that I had in college gave me this book to read. I braved Anu Aunty and co-founded a $1 million company by Varun Agrawal. I finished that book in 4 hours and I was like blown away by what he had achieved right out of college. And that was like, okay, if he can do it, why can't we do that, man? One thing that happened was I was also part of this other organization called Enactus, alright, which was all about social entrepreneurship. And we tried to make an entire village self-sustaining on an organic business model, like established a proper business model amongst villagers. And we went into the nationals for that particular competition. And there was this day on the nationals where there were a lot of corporates in the same room, and we were supposed to have lunch with them. Now, before that, I had never ever interacted with any corporate, and these were people who were like CEO of Reliance Finance, and there's the Vice President of Bank of New York, Mellon, and things like that. These were like Cargill, and these were like some amazing, brilliant people, big people sitting in the room and just casually having lunch with us. And that moment, I started talking to these people, and after that, I've never been the same person ever again. If you ask me when did I get this confidence to talk to people or go on meetings or meet almost probably every big contributor to the Indian startup ecosystem, it was because of that particular day when I had the opportunity to interact with these people. Before that, I was very timid and shy, but that day really changed my life. 3 years ago, we were sitting down in a hostel room, 3 of us, and 3 of my co-founders as well. And we had an exam the next day. We discussed everything possible except from studies. We discussed politics, economics, quantum physics, astronomy, Amma, Sunny Leon, everything possible, okay? For the course of discussion, we realized that, okay, I wanted to be an astronomer. My other friend wanted to be an economist. The third person wanted to be a writer. So how did it happen that 3 people with such different passions and such different interests and such different ideal career options or aims ended up studying something like fluid dynamics in a remote college in Chennai? And we realized that there's this problem, there's this problem in our society, in our education system as well. And this problem was not just faced by me, it was faced by our entire batch. People who were artists, people who had amazing photography skills, or people who were really passionate about law, even being forced into things like engineering and medical and these straightforward fields and these streamlined fields. So there's this problem, and we're like, okay, high time we need to go out there and solve this problem, man. And that is how we started the climb, through that one hostel room discussion. So initially my co-founders were from SRM, and then over a period of time when the organization evolved, people from other places joined in, previous co-founders left, and all the general thing of how an organization is built or how a startup is built. So Samir was one of those people I met in high school, and as soon as this started off and it started taking pace, I rang him up and was, boss, would you like to join me for this venture? And he agreed, and that's how Samir joined us. We were like these radical people trying to bring out a change, so we didn't really think about the business aspect of it as much as we should have before starting. What happened was we wanted to be a magazine which had brilliant content, relevant content written by college-going students, quirky as well as informative and inspiring, right? But we did not believe in advertisements. And we're like, okay, if we're gonna make break even or even make profits on this, we're gonna do it through pure sales sales and subscriptions of the magazine. We didn't know that that model doesn't really work out in the media industry. Secondly, fortunately, we were lucky enough to meet the editor-in-chief of the Hindu, Mr. Engram, and he also told us the same thing, that print is dying. Print is going to be dead in 10 years. Nobody wants to subscribe to a print magazine or a print newspaper anymore. Even the Hindu is moving on to an app now. So these were a few instances that we realized that okay, our business model wasn't really great, because we were dealing with school children. To crack a school, it takes 1.5 years on an average to convince a school to buy a product. That's the B2B reality in India when it comes to school markets. So it didn't fall into place and everything went absolutely wrong. Within 3 months of launching a magazine, we were in debt. We weren't able to get out of it anytime soon. And but yeah, we pulled in money from our own pockets, somehow managed raising sponsors from here and there, did a few events to raise funds, and managed to pull the magazine off while we were struggling. So that was and a lot of my co-founders as well who had joined, or even the core team who had joined, was expecting that it will break even, or it will surge, and it will go on like wildfire and people will be subscribing to our magazines. None of that happened. So this team started leaving slowly. Then my mom was worried about what I'll be doing, because ek to he is in second year, then he has external debt. Then upar se my grades were not as brilliant as they were in the first year, because that time I was very focused on studies. So it was all a mess. It was a complete mess during that time. It was tough, it was hard, but yeah, we never gave up. Now the problem that we are trying to solve was a real problem. We knew that okay, the problem is legitimate, our solution is wrong. So can we come up with a new solution or alternate solutions which cater to the same problem, are financially viable, are business wise as well viable and profitable and scalable? And we started looking out for those opportunities. We brainstormed every night. We somehow went out there and tried to pull ourselves together and not to quit. And we did whatever we could to make sure that okay, we have to sustain another month.